Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Crendor, and welcome back to Crendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen. Today, we're talking in front of fire, because Burnout, right? Burnout, burn, fire. I had to think of something for the background, man. This is like the best thing I could think of. Like, I guess fireworks. I could, some people put up things like Burnout, and some guy being like, and overreaction and stuff like that. I'm not doing that. So I wanted to talk a bit about Burnout, because it seems like everybody... not everybody, but like a lot of people in the YouTube, Twitch, online entertainer industries have been burning out lately. And I've seen it from people I know personally, from people, I'm acquaintances with, people I just know and have seen. It seems like a lot of people are burning out. And I think there's a lot of different reasons for it. And I think each person has their own reasons, but I wanted to go into it a bit as somebody who's done YouTube for almost 13 years now, which is a little insane to think about. My YouTube career is almost a teenager, and then streaming I've done for 9 years, so not quite as long, but, we're almost going on a decade of that, so believe it or not, I have burned out before. I've burned out many a times, but I think there's different types of burnout. That's kind of what I want to cover, right? So, one big thing people always say is like, I just don't know why I feel like this, or like I'm just, I'm tired of playing this game, or maybe it's just, there's a lot of things going on in my life. There's a whole bunch of reasons people talk about burnout, but first let's define burnout. What is burnout, right? Not just YouTubers and streamers and everything go through this, right? This is a common thing people go through in just life. Burnout, according to when I Google burnout, it is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. Job burnout can result from various factors, including lack of control and inability to influence decisions that affect your job, such as schedule, assignments, etc. So an example of burnout is doctors and nurses, right? This is a pretty extreme one, because, like, if there's anybody who's, like, gonna be burned out, it would probably be the medical profession, especially as of late. And that's, like, it's like a full-on, like, mental, physical, like, full-on burnout. Like, if anybody needs a vacation, it's them. And I think that actually plays a part of the whole YouTube and Twitch burnout, because as an online, I still hate that, online content creator, influencer, like all those buzzwords. I don't know, I just, whatever you want to call it, I just make videos and entertain people, right? So I think a lot of people feel bad that they feel like they need a break. That's a big one, because, so many people are trying to do YouTube. They're trying to become streamers. They're trying to do all these things. And so when somebody that's already, established as a streamer or YouTuber or whatever, you have this sense of like, I should not need to take a break because I'm doing something that other people wish they were doing. So I think that's one of the biggest things YouTubers and streamers deal with, is feeling that feeling of, I should not need a break, right? This is, everybody wishes they could do it. They want to play games for a living, right? They want to, just hit a stream, start stream button and be like, what's up, gamers? Right? They just want to do that. And now I don't want to do it because I'm feeling burned out or emotionally drained, or you just don't want to do it, right? And so you feel bad about that feeling. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people deal with. But I think once you get past that, I think a lot of people feel it, right? Like some people, like professional athletes might be like, oh, I'm kind of tired of playing baseball. I'm kind of tired of playing basketball. Look at Michael Jordan. He got tired of playing basketball. He was burned out. And then he went and played baseball for a bit. And then he's like, actually, you know what? And then I'm going to go back and play basketball. I think a lot of times you just got to step away. They just need a break to kind of refocus, regather themselves and be like, is this really what I enjoy doing? And then I think after that break, you might find, like, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's not what I want to do. It was just a, part of my life. And then other people might be like, you know what, it is. Taking a step away made me miss it and want to come back to it, and now I'm back and refreshed. So I think that's one thing. I think another thing tends to be your own personal issues. Sometimes people have, whatever it might be. Maybe a family member passed away. Maybe you're going through health issues. As somebody who, went through many health issues, it definitely takes its toll on you when your stomach hurts and you get your gallbladder out and you have to get your toenails removed. And everything's like bad. The last thing you want to do is be like, "What's up, gamers? I'm in pain." Right? You don't want to do that. Or like, "Man, I can't wait to sit down and edit this funny video." As you're like, right? So that's another thing that can affect it. I would say another thing is some people take to heart a lot of negativity. I would say this one used to get to me more. It can still get to me occasionally, but people in general tend to have the negativity bias, which is, you'll see this all the time on like Twitter, wherever it is. People are just like, everybody's so mean today. Why does everybody got to be mean, right? And usually that boils down to like one or two people. That's usually what it is. One or two people that are just saying something mean, because it's human nature to focus on the negative things. And I was reading about it, how we like evolved to focus on that because it's a survival thing, right? So obviously if things are going good, you appreciate it, but when like a negative thing happens, you're like, oh, like that could be a sign of danger, right? I don't know, what's an example? Like, for example, you're out in the wilderness and you're doing everything, you're hunting, you're camping, you're doing everything right, and then all of a sudden, you hear something in the woods, and you're like, oh, like what was that? There's something in the woods, right? Your attention's going straight to like this thing, but it might be nothing, and people are like, stop worrying, it's nothing, right? And that same sort of sense. I don't even know if that's probably a terrible example. It actually reminds me of hypochondria a bit, right? Because I have hypochondria. It's gotten better, but like every little ailment you get, you hyperfixate on. You're like, this could be the worst thing ever, right? And you stress yourself out about it to the point where like you're making yourself worse. And so because of that, you're trying to do a good thing. You're trying to be like, oh god, this might be a bad thing. I need to like really focus on this and fix this and go to the doctor and get all these problems fixed because this is going to be bad. When in reality, it might just be, it's probably nothing. And most of the time, it is nothing, right? And so it's that same thing with comments, is we tend to we fixate on the negative. So, people are like, good job, great video, things. And our brain tends to expect that anyway, right? It tends to be like, hey, you know what? I put a lot of work into this. Thanks, everybody, for the comments. And there's that one person just like, this video sucked. This video almost sucked as much as your YouTube channel. And then it hits you, right? Because everything's fine, and they take their little like dagger, and they're like, right? And they goblin stab you. And I think a lot of people it hits harder than others. Some people it's a bunch of those. Some people can handle one of those. You're like, whatever, right? That's one. And then you keep scrolling, you see another guy like, yeah, I agree. This person's an idiot. This is the dumbest channel I've ever seen. And then you go on stream and someone's like, this streamer is boring. And it all piles up. And then you hit a breaking point where you're just like, bah! Right? It's I think some people's breaking point for that is, a day. Some people's breaking point is a week. Some people's, a year, whatever. And I think, any person that's done online entertaining or just any entertaining, literally anything, that other people have been able to critique and judge has probably felt, criticized by somebody to a point of like overcritical, right? And so I think, being able to take a break and just not look at any of that or do that is a good thing. I mean, I still think back to like, even think about it. Those things stand out more in your head. I still remember someone in co-optional being like, not another Cren optional podcast. This podcast is ruined now. Right? I didn't, I still went on the podcast and everything, but seeing that, you're just like, you can't do anything about it, but sometimes you got to step away from that. You have to uninstall the app. You got to not look at the things. You got to not read the comments. You got to just, and sometimes you just got to like not do anything. You just got to step away and take a break and be like, whatever. So I'd say that's another thing. Another thing would be playing one specific game. This is one that I obviously branched away from years ago, especially when TB was just like, don't attach yourself to one game, because when that game dies, you die. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And so, I also just wanted to play a variety of games. I'm like, whatever, okay. So, branching off of that into being a variety streamer or gamer, or whatever you want to call it, I think helps a ton with just your mental health, because you don't feel tied down to one game. So, some people, they're like League of Legends streamers. Some people, they're like, I don't know, Dota streamers. Some people are, I don't know, browse Twitch. What's going on right now? FIFA streamers, GTA roleplay streamers, Valorant streamers, Hearthstone, Fortnite. Like, you pick it, pick the game you got. There's gonna be somebody that only plays that game. And it hits a point where you like keep playing that game because you're like, oh, okay, a lot of people are watching me play this game because they want to see me only play this game. And it's actually true. Like, a lot of people only want to watch you play this game. And it's nothing against you, but like once you stop playing that game, like, you know what, I'm gonna try to play this other game today. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch. And then someone else will be like, this isn't the game I like, and then they won't watch. And then the viewers drop, and they're like, oh god, I gotta go back to that game. I gotta go back to the other game. So then they go back to the other game. And so you always feel tied into that game. And that'll destroy your mental health, because then you don't want to play that game. And I mean, if you're just playing video games for fun, you're destroying that as a hobby, because you're like, well, I can't play games for fun, because when I play games, I gotta stream or make videos. And then you start playing this game only when you stream, but you hate playing that game, so you're just like, oh my god, I gotta play this game anyway. And you're like, wow, this is fun. And then everyone's like, he seems like he's not having as much fun as he usually is. Well, yeah, because they don't want to play the game. So that's part of it. And that's again why I think it's important to, even though if you're going to lose viewership, over time you're going to build more of a community based on your personality rather than based on whatever game you're playing. And I think that's pretty important. And then sometimes you just don't have to care about viewership at all. Just like play what you want. Which again is easier said than done, but it's true. Like, sometimes you just got to play whatever you want. And have fun, because that's in the grand scheme of things. People get into YouTube and streaming and all this stuff because it's fun. And I think as people do this for years and years and years, it becomes less fun for all the reasons I've just mentioned. You get comments being like, this guy's an idiot. You start losing interest in the game that you initially really enjoyed. Maybe you're working a lot in terms of like You're streaming like all day. You're getting health problems because of it. You're like, oh, my stomach hurts, right? And all these things are compiling, and then you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and you just need a break. But you feel bad about taking a break because you're like, everybody wants to do what I'm doing. Why do I feel bad about doing it? So yeah, it's a fun time. And, the thing I've realized whenever I took a break is that I still love doing this, right? No matter what I do, no matter if I take, a week off or a few days off or I don't, or whatever it is, I love, live streaming, making videos, all this stuff. And whatever I do is going to change. Obviously, I started getting more into Warhammer. I started playing different games, different MMORPGs, making different styles of videos, streaming different things. Like, whatever. There's a motorcycle outside. He's vroom vrooming. So, overall, it's been 15 minutes of me ranting. And I think maybe I needed to rant just for my own sanity. I don't know. And I think another reason I enjoy taking breaks is it allows you to kind of put everything back into perspective. Because I think I'm actually planning on taking a little mini break now, probably only like 3-4 days, because I want to refocus all my all the things I do, right? I want to kind of like, you know, step back and look at them. Like, all right, what have I been streaming? What do I want to do with stream? Like, I've been streaming a lot at night. So I'm like, you know what? I'd like to throw in a day stream here or there. When would be a good day to do that? And I'm like, I don't know. So I want to just take some time and like analyze all this. Be like, when would be a good, you know, time to do a day stream here or there? Like when, you know, what's a series I wanted to do? How would I go about making this series? Like fishing stuff. Like I want to do that. So how would I go about doing this? You know, and like taking a step back and analyzing everything instead of being stuck in the rut of being like, well, I gotta do the same thing. I gotta do the same thing. And then you just keep doing the same thing because you're a creature of habit. And so when you get into the habit of something, there's good habits and there's bad habits. So like after a while, you need to, in order to break whatever habit you're doing, you got to step back and you have to be like, I need to stop doing what I'm doing. Sometimes a break is that. It's to stop doing what you're doing and kind of reanalyze everything. And then sometimes it's just, you know, giving yourself some mental health breaks to get away from everything I mentioned earlier. So I think I've covered it pretty well, but you know, over the years, I've had different types of burnouts, different types of breaks, different types of, you know, everything. And I think I've gotten pretty comfortable with how to manage it and how to go about it. So it's nice in that aspect. Plus, you know, going to the gyms helped me a lot. Exercise, get out and exercise for your health, for your fitness, for your, you know, your mental health and physical health. It's great. Love exercising. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube lingo. And I'll put links to all my stuff in the description. I got my Warhammer channel. I got my Patreon. And podcasts I do. A whole bunch of stuff. Check it all out. And, yeah. Okay. See ya. Oh yeah, this is EVE Online music, by the way. Everybody's be like, what kind of music is that? It's EVE Online music, so there you go.